Okay, so to get started, let's look at some alternatives you have available to monetizing your app. And when we go through these alternatives, let's look at how easy it is to start making money using this alternative, how it supports a good business model where you can make long-term revenue, and finally, what value this monetization model provides to the user. So let's start with our first alternative, paid downloads. This is where the user needs to pay in order to even download the app to the phone. So how about easy to launch for paid downloads? Well, perhaps it's kind of obvious that this is very difficult to do, and you have to have an app where the user really knows the value of your app beforehand and is willing to pay for it. Compared to overall number of apps, there are very few that can do this. So a paid downloads monetization model is definitely not easy to launch. What about long-term revenue? Well, once the user has paid upfront for the app, they don't expect to be charged anymore. So only using paid downloads will limit your revenue to the number of users downloading the app. So paid download has a limitation when it comes to sustaining long-term revenue. Then what about user value? A paid download definitely has a high user value. After all, the user is willing to pay upfront to get this app, so they really want it. Alright, let's look at another alternative, subscription. This is where the user pays a certain amount regularly, for example monthly. So is a subscription monetization model easy to launch? The answer is definitely not. Again, you're asking the user to pay upfront, and even more, you're asking them to pay, for example, every month. It is a huge decision for the user to want to do this. So what about long-term revenue? Yes, spot on. The user will continue to pay for your app as long as it provides value, so you will continue to get revenue from all users of your app, not only at the time when they downloaded it. And what about user value? Same thing as for paid download. You have a user that is willing to make an upfront financial commitment to use your app, so obviously your app provides a very specific and high value to the user. And both these monetization models, paid downloads and subscription, can be configured in the Play Store when you deploy your app. Okay, let's now look at displaying ads in your app. Is this monetization model easy to launch? Yes, it is. In particular, if there is no charge for the app, users understand that you have to make money from something. What about long-term revenue? The answer is yes to this one too. As long as your app is used, you will be paid for displaying ads, so this supports a long-term business model. What about user value? As it turns out, ads do provide great value to the user. As we will see, AdMob, the platform we will look at in this course, is very good at serving ads which are relevant to the user. And ads which are relevant to you is a good thing. And now for the last alternative we will look at. In-app purchases enables you as a developer to advertise and sell digital goods right in your app. For example, they can be new levels or items in a game. So is this model easy to launch? Yes, in-app purchases are very easy to launch. The user does not have to pay for anything upfront. And what about long-term revenue? Well, since you can offer and engage the user with new digital goods all the time, in-app purchases have a great long-term revenue potential. Then what about user value? Well, since the user is engaging with the app and you control what to advertise and sell, it will be very relevant to the user, so great user value as well. Alright, so those are some of the monetization alternatives available. And as you can see, ads and in-app purchases provides a great way to make money from your app. They are easy to launch, they provide great long-term revenues, and they align well with the user values. And in this lesson, we will specifically be looking at displaying ads.